I'm Jeff, Not Dead Yet Adventures is the channel, and I'm a nomad. I've been traveling the world for about 3.5 years now. Keep adding time to that. I'm very happy with that. It keeps getting longer and longer. Very, very happy with that. I've sold everything I left America, and I just started traveling. So started out slow traveling, and then I went full like rapid nomad and whatever you want to call it. I started bounce, bounce, bounce. And I've done months, I've done days in countries. It just kind of depends. But I do YouTube when I'm bored, so I'm not one of these like super great YouTubers. And I do what I like, right? Sometimes it's a time lapse, sometimes it's a walk through the park, sometimes it's a talking head video. Today I want to talk about who you should listen to. It's funny to me how I will get all these, I'll get like one random theme will hit my head and then I see it everywhere. It's coming in from the TV, from YouTube, from friends, from just everywhere. So for the past 4 or 5 days, I've just been getting bombarded with this idea that you shouldn't care what other people think. Don't care what other people think. Don't care. Don't listen to them. Don't this. Don't read the comments. Yeah, I don't prescribe to that theory. I don't agree with that theory. I think that theory is misplaced. I think that theory is right out there with like unicorn rides, rainbow slides, and Skittle rainfalls, right? It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. So let me break it down a little bit, and let's take the veneer off this bubble wrapped world and embrace reality a little bit. Let's go out and actually hug a tree. And guess what? When you hug a tree, you might get a splinter, you might get an ant or a bee or a spider, right? But you're hugging a tree. It's supposed to be a wonderful, beautiful thing. But there's this real world about it, right? Trees have bugs, and bugs like to crawl on you and see if you have any snacks for them. And that's just the real world, right? So the idea of not listening to people caring, yeah, sure, that's a great platitude. It's a great idea, but when rubber meets the road, it fails. Just fails. Utterly fails. So why should you listen to people, strangers, friends, family, and more importantly, as a traveler, why is it more important that you listen to people and their criticism? It's even more important as I travel that listening to strangers and caring what other people think matters more to me. And it's more important that I do that, and I do it well, and I process it in the most efficient way, or most efficient way possible, the best manner to manage my outcome. And there's like 6 other topics that spin off of this I want to get into, so I'm going to try and keep it focused. So I'm going to go back to something I've been saying for decades, literally. You tell the world how to treat you by the way you talk, by the voice you use, by the position of your head, right? If you're talking like this, or like this, or like this, or like that, or like this, right? You tell the world how to treat you. You tell the world how to respond to you, how to interact with you. And my belief is, 90% of the people will follow that. They'll listen to you, what you're saying, what you're not saying, how you're dressed, your shoes, whether your beard is trimmed evenly or whether it's lopsided, right? All those things, clue people in on how to treat you. And if you're not paying attention to that, they'll start to treat you in a manner you don't want to be treated like. So if you're not being treated well by the world, the first place to look is in the mirror. But if you're not willing to look in the mirror, i.e. listen to strangers, you're just going to play pinball, and you're not going to know what I need to adjust, or how I need to adjust my language, or this or that, to get treated the way you want to get treated. And I don't understand why people think that's a bad thing. Now, yes, there's obviously that, like I said, there's that small percentage of people who aren't going to pay attention to what you're asking. You're asking the world to treat you a certain way and deal with you a certain way, use certain language. And, obviously there's always that small percentage who are like super obsessed, and they're not going to respond to what you're asking for. But in my experience that's really been amplified in the last 3 years on the road, the more I ask for what I want, whether it's from the world or from people or from strangers, the more specific and the more deliberate I am, the easier my life gets and the more often I get what I want. And I'm not saying that to be like greedy or anything like that. Like most of the time, I just want to be left alone and enjoy some time, have some good conversation, good food, right? I want very simple things. And part of that's, adjusting my wants to, what's low effort, right? Because I'm a pretty low effort guy lately. Can't even put out YouTube videos on schedule. But listening to other people clues me into those things I miss when I look in the mirror. Listening to other people clues me into possibilities. If I didn't listen to other people and care what other people thought, I never would have ended up in the Philippines. I never would have came up with the idea of selling everything I own and leaving America, right? I would have stayed in my chair, would have stayed in my recliner, watching TV, going to the microwave, and what good would that be? I'd still be playing video games, on one TV and have another TV going, with NCIS or something, and have some food in the microwave or a popcorn or, the Keurig coffee machine running like nonstop all day, every day, or pouring my Crown and Coke, right? I wouldn't be out exploring the world if I didn't listen to other people and listen to their opinions. Now you have to filter that. You have to take all that subjective BS away. And the filter I use when I listen to criticism or feedback that is kind of on that line between criticism and insults or whatever is if I imagine even my most, like the person who's ridiculing me the most, which doesn't happen that often, to be frank, but if I imagine that person has my best interest in mind, then I can filter what they say and process what they say and get the most out of it. And get the most out of it. I want to repeat that a few times. If I imagine or believe even the meanest, rudest, nastiest person has my best interest in mind, when I listen to what they say and I filter it and I process it, I get the most out of it that way. Now, there's obviously that small percentage of people, they just want to tear you down. And even those people, there'll be a little nugget, potentially be a little nugget of something there that you can go, okay, that's something I can work on. Yeah, maybe I should double knot my shoes so I don't have to stop and tie my shoes and give fuel to this chucklehead who wants to talk shit, right? Maybe I should cut my hair more often so I don't end up with this bald spot here and people can talk shit, or, people don't like my beard. Well, screw off. I like my beard, right? And that's what I say, filter, right? The more you filter things, not the more. Filtering is necessary. Filtering is necessary. And passing it through the filters you create and, get away from the subjective, get away from the feelings. Like, is that person saying anything I should really work on and improve? And is that a work on now, work on when I get time to, work on, is that something, like there's things about ourselves and our lives we all know we should do better, but they're so insignificant to us right now, they don't even register, right? Don't even register. I don't care about the random hair growing off the top of my ear I have to pluck every 3 months, right? I'll go find it every 3 months or so, but I'm not up there every day looking for that random hair because it doesn't matter to me, right? Doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. But there are other things that people might pick up on and might give you some feedback, and it might sound like a super nasty, mean insult. But when you filter it, you go, oh, wait, that's important. And had I never listened to people like, hey, maybe you would be happier in the Philippines. Well, let me go to the Philippines and see what's going on, right? Maybe this would be better for you over here. Maybe you would like this. Maybe you would like that. If you don't listen to people, go buy a recliner, go buy a microwave, go buy a TV, get some Crown, get some Coke, get some coffee, and just sit there all day and wait to die like I used to. Just sit there in front of the TV, play some video games, and wait to die. Chat online, get that nasty chat going, right? Oh, you showed that person so good, right? Been there, done that, not going back, right? And it didn't happen because I stopped listening to people. Because at that point in time, if I didn't listen to other people, I'd still be that angry, cantankerous guy sitting in front of the TV, eating microwave burritos, right? Don't be that guy. If you dream about doing this or doing that, going to the Philippines, going to Thailand, going to Bulgaria, going to wherever, if you have a dream, maybe listen to people who want to help you get that dream accomplished. And when you listen to those people who say you can't do it, or you say you won't do it, or say you're a nasty person, that's fuel. There was a really great movie called, and called that Tackling Fuel, right? And the more I embraced that negativity, the more fuel I had to do positive things. Because I would embrace that negativity and I wouldn't use it to fuel my negative response. I would use it to fuel my positive response. And all this is just a big mind trick, how to use everything to your advantage to get done what you want to get done. And then you have to start with, is what you want to get done really a good thing, right? Is what are your goals? Is drinking water right now something that's going to help my goals or not? Yes, I need water. Is putting the cap on the water something that's going to help my goals now? Yes or not? No, it's just a waste of time. So I'm going to have more water in a minute, right? But when you have a goal, a clear goal, even the most nasty, rude insults can help you achieve that goal. But, separate all that out, and it all starts with having a good filter. It all starts with having a good perspective and having a winning attitude as opposed to a like, oh, that person's just attacking me, or what. It's like, no. I try to filter everything through that thought process, that even the nastiest, meanest person has my best interest at heart. And if I can believe that every insult, every positive comment, every negative comment, they have my best interest at heart, minus that small percentage who are just like crazy chuckleheads, right? All of that is fuel, motivation, inspiration, and whatever, pick your adjective. All of that is pushing me towards my goals. But it all starts with having a goal. It all starts with wanting to do something other than sitting in the chair waiting to die. It all starts with wanting to go accomplish something, wanting to go do something, wanting to live life, wanting to be happier. And the happier I am, the more you can talk BS to me, and the more it's just gonna make me happy. I used to play pool with these guys, and they'd always be like, F you, you're an asshole. And I'd be like, good, thank you, right? Because they would say that because I made a good shot, or I put them in a position on the table they didn't like, and it was good for me, right? Because it was a game. We're trying to win and lose. And so it wasn't said in spite or anger, it was said in competition. And I don't think most people are out there competing at our age, competing life to life, or this to this, or that to that. But there are those crazy chuckleheads out there who are just competing. And anything you do, they want to do better. They want to do better. Oh, look at me, I'm a YouTube star. Look at me, I'm doing this. Look at me, I've got 30 countries on my passport. Somebody asked me the other day how many countries I've been to. I'm like, I don't know. Never counted. Don't even care. My typical answer is, how many countries have you been to? Not enough. Not enough. How many countries do I want to go to? More than I can. How many cities have I been to that are fabulous? Many. Many, many, many. Pick your top 5 cities? No, I'll pick my top 20. Because there's so many great places to go see, so many people to meet. And if you're not going to listen to other people, it's going to be a lot harder to get there. Now, I know there are some people who are so grounded and rooted, they don't need to listen to feedback from anybody. They just, go through life, blah, blah, blah. But maybe if they listen to the insults a little bit and filter them properly. If you're not going to filter them properly, shut it out. If you don't have the strength and willpower to objectively filter things and cut out the chaff, cut out the negative, like mean-spiritedness of comments, and morph that comment into something positive, then yeah, don't listen to it, right? Cut it out. And there's so much I just dismiss because the tone and temperament that it was given, it's obvious that that person's not trying to help me. And if they don't make it through that filter, that every comment is given to me with the with the underlying objective of helping me, if it doesn't get through that filter, it just gets cut away. You go away, right? You get blocked, you go away. I don't need to take your phone call. I don't need you. You're not part of me going this way to get that done. And that's just life. But it drives me crazy listening to so many people don't care what other people think. And I'm not saying care what every random crazy person thinks, but I do think your success in whatever you want to do will be greatly accelerated by listening to the right people at the right time and believing that you know how to make the best wheel. Good for you. If you think you know how to make the best wheel, good for you. We've been making wheels for centuries, right? And if you know how to make the best wheel, good for you. I don't. If I'm trying to make a wheel, I'm going to seek out people making wheels. And when I make a wheel and it's doing something, it's wobbling or doing whatever, and somebody's like, hey, what about this? What about that? I'm going to listen to them. So do I know how to live the perfect life? No way. If somebody gives me a little jab or a little nudge or a little push or slaps me in the face, I'm going to assume they're trying to slap me on the back saying, hey, go this way, or get my attention. Hey, look at this, right? I'm not going to take it as a direct insult unless they just constantly keep trying to slap you in the face, right? That's different. Obviously, it's different. There's so much out there to see and do in the world, and it just why would you limit yourself to advice that can help you do more, faster, better, easier? I don't understand it. I don't understand why you would put that limit on yourself. I do understand filtering, and I do agree if you're not a good filter person, then don't take in so much, right? Don't clog your filter with too much negativity. Don't clog your filter with too many people trying to tear you down. But when you get good at or practice or get efficient at filtering, I think getting the most feedback from the most people will get you to your goals the fastest. The problem I see with people is they're not real clear on their goals, and they're not willing to listen to the feedback that will get them there the fastest because they think they know how to make the best wheel. They think they know how to live the best life. I don't, right? I know I'm enjoying the hell out of my life now, right? I know my life is better than it's been in years, and I know what I did to get here, and I can share that. But are you going to listen and hear what you need to hear to get to where I am? Because if you do what I did, it won't get you to where I am. It'll get you maybe someplace better, maybe someplace worse. You got to sort out where you're going and then find out what you need to do to get there, and then just start doing it. But if you don't want to do the work, don't dream the dream. If you don't want to live the dream, don't, right? Live the misery. That's your choice. But if you want to live the dream, and you can dream the dream, and you can envision the work you need to get to living the dream, then do the work and tell people where you're going and ask for help, ask for input, and ask for it subtly, ask for it objectively, ask for it overtly, ask for it any way you want. But identify those people that are trying to help you get to your dream and embrace them and listen to them, and don't let them bring you down. If somebody's negative and toxic, cut that person quick. That is probably the best advice I've heard in the last 3 days, 4 days. In fact, it just came across from 2 different feeds this morning, and one of them was that Sanchez girl on Instagram. I always forget her first name, but she's like, cut toxic people out as fast as possible. And so if somebody's just being toxic to be toxic because they're just a toxic bomb and they don't know any other way than to be toxic, they're not there You know, they shouldn't make it through your filter that this person's trying to help me, right? There's nothing in their content that they're trying to help you. There's nothing in their essence that they're trying to help you. You know, some people are just that way, and sometimes it's a season, sometimes it's a lifestyle, sometimes it's a, you know, episodic phase for them. They go through it once a month or once a year or whatever, and then they're a good person, normal person, a healthy person to be around. It doesn't matter. If somebody's being toxic with you, get them out of your life. And, you know, and that's my opinion. And it's worked well for me. It's worked very well for me. But I've got other things to do today. I hope you have a great day. And when somebody says, don't care what other people think, yeah, sure, okay, and then care what they think. This much, that much, that much, whatever is appropriate, right? Because what other people think about you dictates how they treat you, how they respond to you. And is this somebody you value and respect giving you that insult? Or is it somebody you look at with sorrow and pity going, man, I'm sorry your life is so hard. You know, I'm sorry you're living that life, but, you know, I can't do anything to help you unless you want to help yourself. And if you're insulting me, I can't really do anything to help you. It's not really my place to help you. You know, I haven't met many people who are doing much better than me in one aspect or the other who weren't willing to give me a tip and advice, a rabbit hole to go look down. So if that's your attitude, right? If you're always looking for how to get to where I'm going, you know, how do I get to the dream I'm dreaming? How do I get to living the dream I'm dreaming? You know, and cut those toxic people. Cut those toxic people. I got to go. Hope you have a great day. See you. Bye.